In this video, we're going to talk about the DTF hack that everyone is talking about, sublimation that you're able to do on 100% cotton. Before we get started, I just want to make sure that you understand that we are using a sublimation printer with sublimation ink. This will not work with any other kind of ink. DTF sometimes is referred to as direct to film, direct to fabric, but what I'm doing is I'm using a DTF transfer film, and we are using a white hot melt adhesive powder, and I'll have the links below. And you can see that I have put my adhesive powder in a glass jar with a cover to keep it free of moisture. You're supposed to be able to use 100% cotton for this. I did not have a 100% cotton shirt on hand, but I had a ton of these 60% cotton, 40% polyester that do not hold sublimation ink when you wash them very well. They get that older look, and I really didn't want to do sublimation on these, and I bought a pile of them when I first got into sublimation. So that's what I'm using. This is the first time that I've actually got this DTF hack to work. I have had such a hard time getting my film to go through the printer. It doesn't recognize the film, and I have tried taping paper on it before, but someone said try painter's tape, so that's what I'm doing here. So you can see the DTF paper and you can see my plain copy paper, and then on the right there I have put a strip of painter's tape on there. So here you can see that I have the film on top of the copy paper, and then I lightly taped the sides as well. And then on the right, it's feeding through the printer. So I've got the painter's tape down first, and the copy paper is in the back, and then the film is on top of the copy paper with matte side up. Now, when I got this DTF film, it told me which side of the paper in the package was up. So I actually taped the label on top of my film packet so that I remember which side is the top and which side that you print on. You print on the matte side. Like I said earlier, I have a ton of these 60-40, 60% cotton, 40% polyester shirts that I bought for my husband's business to give to the employees as work shirts. So that's the first thing that I wanted to try, was to do work shirts for the employees. So now we're at the printer options, and I went into the printer properties. Now here is where I've heard different things on the DTF hack, that you don't want to do the slow printing because the ink will run. You want to use standard. So go into the printer properties where you see the arrow there. So what I chose for my printer properties, I chose plain paper and I chose standard print. Then I went into more options and I emphasized more and emphasized thin lines and hit OK. And then I always mirror your images for sublimation, always. So the DTF is the same as sublimation. So you're going to mirror your image. And you see I unchecked high speed. I do not want high speed. Then I started printing, and as you can see, it did print. It picked it up. I had to put it through twice before it read the film, and so I do have some residual ink on here, and I see, if you can look closely at the flag there, you'll see some white lines through there. So there is some streak lines. So next time I would probably choose photo glossy and use change the quality over to high quality instead of standard. So now the next step is, while the ink is still wet, you want to add the adhesive powder to it. Now, I would probably put a pan under it next time or some paper. I did not. This is my first time trying this. So I just poured some adhesive powder on while it was wet, and then I just rolled the paper back and forth. It still has the copy paper on the back at this point. So what I did next is I actually trimmed around to get that extra ink off of there. And I do suggest using eye, face, and hand protection. You want to make sure that there's a good coverage of that adhesive. You're going to want to hold it up to the light. And then I actually poured the excess back into my jar. And then I preheated my press to 385 degrees and I set my timer for 35 seconds. Now you can see that I've trimmed off that extra residual ink that was on the image, and I did put a clean piece of protective paper underneath it, and now I'm just going to put it under my heat source. Now this is going to be you're going to have to watch it carefully because it can take 25 to 50 seconds. You're not going to close your press on this. You're just going to hover it. So if you're using a handheld press, you're going to just hover over the top of this for 25 to 50 seconds. Again, the time will vary on this, but as you can see, the colors got bright and vivid and clear. You can definitely see the white streak lines in the flag now better, but you can still see there's a little residual ink on there. And when I cut these apart, I'm going to cut all that extra residual ink because I don't want any of that transferring onto my shirt. I pre-pressed the shirt for 10 seconds and then I cleaned it with a lint roller, and then I trimmed the image off of the other sheet of film because I only want one of the images on the shirt. And now you can see that I've removed all that residual ink, and you can actually get closer. You want to trim off as much as possible so that you're not having anything on the shirt that you might not see on the film. I covered my image with protective paper. I did 4 shirts and I did them all a little bit different, but the best way for me was I put the protective paper on and then I put the Teflon sheet over that and then I pressed it at 385 degrees for 35 seconds. When the image is placed on the shirt, it's going to look at you as if it's the right side up. The ink is actually down, but when you look through the film, it looks like it's right side up. That's the way you want it. Then I covered it with protective paper. Now, I did 4 shirts, and of all 4 of them, I did them all a little bit different, but the best quality that I found on the 4 shirts was covering it with protective paper, and then I put a Teflon sheet over the protective paper, and I pressed at 385 degrees for 35 seconds. Now you're definitely going to want a cool peel for this, so let this cool down. I took mine off and I shook it a little bit, not hard, but just lightly, and rubbed my hand over the image. Now this is going to be hot when you take it off the press, so wear protection for that as well. Then you're going to want to peel it when it's completely cool, and I peeled slowly and it came off really well. Other than the lines, I think it's a win. I'll probably adjust my print settings next time to photo glossy and use high quality and see what happens with that. But I'm happy with these. You can find the links below for the DTF film and the adhesive that I used. And thank you for watching, and please subscribe to my channel. Have a great day.